Hello to those loyal fans of MMA Freak. I am Matt Salzer, and this is a special video because 5 years ago, MMA Freak was created. Um, and I've been here for, this month it'll be 4 years that I've been with the site, and it's been quite a ride. It has definitely been quite a ride. You know, when I got on, we had a very active community. Stuff was churning out every single day. We had multiple editors working on the site. We had our own podcast. We had interviews going. It was a very vibrant community. But unfortunately, as time went on, I've seen the ups and downs. I've been through several ups and downs, and unfortunately, as time went on, things kind of people got burnt out, and people left and did other things, and other people have, lives outside of their hobbies, and just things got and interests outside of hobbies, and things just went other ways. For the podcast we had Tiger Taylor and I'm drawing blank on his name, but we had more than a few people on the site. Gabriel Keith, he's come back again in more of just a writing role. But he was the editor in chief. He was the guy running the site, and we had Tiger Taylor and doing the podcast, and we had a few other people doing various articles. And probably about a year, maybe a year and a half into into my work on the site, and I went out when I was on fire. I mean, I didn't have a regular job, and so I had a lot of spare time on my hands. So I came out and I just went on fire, and I was just posting articles daily. I think Gabe was having trouble keeping up at times, and in terms of editor, and yeah, just stuff happened, and people slowly started to drift away. The podcast, the MMA Freak Radio is what it was called, and the podcast drifted away. And I should note that our loose association, we've always been associated with certain. We've also always been associated with outside people. And our association with Ted Check never really went away. I mean, if you look on the site, I still post my videos. We were loosely associated with him, and we still are. I think he's a great guy. He's a little bit more. I think he's a little bit more practical in terms of like putting his videos together. You don't see too much editing with him, but either way. Yeah, when I came on, we were just at this peak where we were charging out of the gate and we were going strong, and we had this collaboration with H4 Entertainment where I got into my first MMA event. That was something. I got into my first MMA event. It was a Bellator event. I can't remember which one, but it was at Pachanga, and I got in, and it was quite an event, and but just unfortunately, like I said, we came out charging out of the gate, and then we kind of just sloped down because Gabe went to Vegas and was planning to do stuff, and then like so many other people, he just got burnt out, but he wrote a book. He started writing a book. Recommend reading that. I actually haven't read the book myself. I'm going to at some point I'm gonna get it because it's an interesting book, but I went eventually Gabe drifted away, and that's when and at the time I went from being the new guy to like being up there, and eventually Gabe just gave the reins to me for the site, he made me the senior editor, and eventually I was able to string my own team together. I think Tom Heffernan had joined before the whole thing, kind of went on, and he still posts articles on occasion, but he's in Scotland and he's got a job. He's a journalist, so he's got his own job, and he's working on stuff there. And so yeah, I became the man of the site, and one thing I ended up doing was I at one point I actually started getting some paid gigs. I've always collaborated with other sites. I think at one point I was writing for Funky Monkey MMA. Then I can't remember what the other MMA site was that I was just doing free work. And then there was another site which is no longer around. News Hub. I also did some writing for. Unfortunately, that one went under. And it takes a lot to start a site. So News Hub went under. Then I also got some paid. Gigs with first MMA Fiends and with early What Culture. That was my first stint. I have had 2 stints with What Culture, one of which was recent, and also is what inspired me to start doing videos more, because their YouTube channels are very extensive. But so I did a stint with What Culture, in which I was getting paid. I did a stint with a site called MMA Fiends, in which I was getting paid. With MMA Fiends, because I came onto the site and I didn't have any formal journalism training. It was kind of one of those things where it was on the fly, and the guy with MMA Fiends cut me because he didn't feel I had article quality. Journalism quality articles, and it's kind of funny because MMA Fiends doesn't exist anymore. So, and then also, What Culture let me go. My articles from that first stint are still on the site. I will post a link to those articles, but basically, I don't even, I'm not sure they even know what to do with their MMA, section and their MMA YouTube channel, because they've basically been stop and go, where they actually tried to do something and then it didn't. But then also the format, they had a format change. I don't know, I don't know if they went through like just an old leadership transition, or if they were like bought out, and that's why things changed a little bit there. But I got let go, and at Mom's suggestion, my mother's always been very supportive, and at Mom's suggestion, I was already going to school for web design, and she suggested that I take journalism classes, and it was perfect timing, because the final class I needed to finish my certificate wasn't until the spring. So I had the fall, and so I started journalism. That was 3 years ago, because I started at where I am now, Pavilions, my day job, about 3 years ago. And it was 3 years ago that I did that. I went to Santa Ana College, the El Don, and I should note, this program is the #1 community college journalism program in the United States. They're not only the top community college journalism program, bar none. They are also ranked in at least the top 10 programs annually of anywhere. Top 10, a community college program, community college journalism program. So I went there and I learned a lot, and that's also where I met my podcasting partner, Edson Valenzuela. So, and that was definitely a learning experience. And Charles Bud Little, he's a great guy, and he taught me a lot. And I just, the thing was, I kept going, and I was still getting into events. I think the first event I got into on my own, I think was actually Invicta, and that's actually, was it Invicta 18? I think it was Invicta 18. I went into this without really doing a script. Whatever Tweet versus Cyborg was, it was that Invicta event, and that's actually where I met a few other people who who I'd consider kind of my close friends in the MMA journalism community. Robert Samo, founder of Fanboy Nation, which is more of a general news site, and Amy, I can't remember her last name, but she's a journalist, and she's actually done stuff with a few different. She's a photographer, and she's basically from the same cloth as Esther Lynn, and so yeah, so I've gone through ups and downs. I brought Edson onto the site, and we did the podcast for the longest time, and also at the time I brought my brother onto the site, John. And he wrote a few articles, and then you'll also remember that he left for Japan, and he's actually moving back from there in about a month, a little over a month, and so we actually had something going that I had created. Hef was doing stuff on a regular basis. Ed was doing stuff on a regular basis. John was doing stuff on a somewhat regular basis. And we had some comebacks from I think Gabe and maybe one or two other people. So we went through like a second wave renaissance. We were getting into events. We were doing the podcast. Everything was going great. And then just things, like I said, John went to Japan and life happened. Edson was going through some personal troubles. I'm not gonna put that out there, but Edson was going through some stuff as well. And then, I've kind of gone through ups and downs myself, and just this year it just feels like it's been kind of a roller coaster. I'm trying to remember exactly when I was invited for the second stint at MMA at What Culture. I think it was probably late last year. And I was brought on, and because they specialize more in pro wrestling there, I'm a casual pro wrestling fan. I did grow up in the Attitude Era, so I tried doing stuff more related to pro wrestling, and I guess their standards have changed or stuff like that. But I think also just the fact that there's a cultural difference, and then also basically, long story short, I think I wrote something like 10 articles. None of them got published, and then they went through the downsizing. So and I actually also tried to do some videos, and even when they basically cut me from the writing staff, I was still trying to do stuff with Sam Driver there, and nothing ended up ever coming of it because he's a busy guy, and that's when I was inspired to start doing the MMA Freak show. I started that a few months back because I was just like, you know what, I need to figure some stuff out, and so yeah, it's been my 4 years here have been quite an experience. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I've learned quite a bit, met quite a few people in MMA, had made friends that I will probably have for life, but yeah, it's never been the easiest road. There's definitely been ups and downs. So, but 5 years, it's not often that a news site, an indie news site lasts 5 years. Like I've said, I've seen sites come and go. I've been part of a few sites that have come and gone. And for this to have gone on as long as it has, for me to have been part of that growth is it's been quite an experience. So I want to thank you for all of those who have stuck with us through thick and thin, because there's we've gone through a bit. We've gone through a remodel of the site. Like I said, had some transitions, had ups and downs, people coming and going, and I feel like I'm in a good spot now. We'll definitely see how things go, and I think I'll probably put out a video later, about my my actual anniversary, and as I mentioned in the video, the top 10 boxers in MMA, that's a rehash of one of my first. It may have been my second or third top 10 list on the site. I rehashed that. I've learned quite a bit since then, so it's definitely not the same list. And like I said, it's been a road. It's definitely been a road, and it's definitely been an experience. I wouldn't trade it for anything. And we'll see how it goes. I'm honestly thinking. I'm honestly thinking about starting a general pop culture site. I will give updates on that. Stuff with that to be determined. I'll probably be creating the Twitter and the Facebook for that somewhat soon. So yeah, it's been a road, and as far as I know, it's not done yet, and we'll see how all that goes. So yeah, 5 years for MMA Freak, and here's to many more. So so thank you for those who have been loyal to the site. Thank you for those who have been supporting us on YouTube. So I wanna thank you. Share, like, and subscribe. Check out MMA Freak for exclusive content there, and so happy anniversary to MMA Freak, and so I will see you next time.